Welcome to the Pitching Command Show, brought to you by Command Trakker, the smart target that MLB and D1 teams rely upon to measure and train command. Many throw hard, but few command. Visit commandtrakker.com. 3, 2, 1. Hey, joining today's podcast is my friend Mack Jenkins, the former Reds Major League pitching coach who's earned 2 World Series rings, in 1990s with the Reds, in 2019 with the Nationals. Not many guys have 2 of them. Thanks for doing the show again, Mac. This is going to be a good show.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a great topic.
You've had amazing success as a player with the Reds in the minor leagues for 3 years and as a major league pitching coach with the Reds for 6, and 20 years as a minor league pitching coach and pitching coordinator with the Reds and the Nationals. And I think you were just in Germany with Tim Hires doing a clinic.
We did. We went to Regensburg, Germany, where we met with the German Federation coaches, and we put on a coaches clinic, and then we worked some with some young players as well.
That's awesome. Tim is a great hitting coach.
Tim is he's a really good instructor. I enjoyed hearing him talk and hearing him teach. He has a passion for hitting.
Yeah, I was surprised at the end of the other season that the Red Sox let him go, and he went to the Rangers. A good thing for the Rangers, right?
That's good for the Rangers, man. They seem to win wherever he goes, so he's doing a good job.
No, he's a great coach. If you like the show, hit the subscribe and like buttons. It really helps us. And check out the Command Trakker Smart Target at commandtrakker.com. That's Trakker with 2 Ks. You can also download a free demo of PitchGrader, the original 3D analysis tool used by MLB and T1 teams since 2018. Check it out at pitchgrader.com. Our friends at Play9 Sports, shopplay9.com, will have a Command Trakker target on display at ABCA in January 4th to the 6th. Check them out at booth 1316. The last episode we did was with Chad Durbin, another great pitcher. And we talked only about reading batters because it's a subject that's not really been covered. And I think it's kind of a lost art when people are only trying to throw hard or trying to get crazy break. They forget about the part of pitching. Because now I talk about command because of that Command Trakker that I sell. But part of being able to use command is you have to read the batter, the situation, and know what to counter with what you've seen on the field or what the batter did. So I was hoping with all your experience, you could tell us about, how you teach reading batters and how you think about reading batters and what kind of response you would do based upon what you read.
Well, I could say I always think of my pitcher first and what he does best. But as a game progresses and batters get in the box, as a pitcher, you should be taught to react to what you see. And what I could see might be, like you said, first pitch breaking ball that's a strike, and it's a funny body language from the hitter. Like, I didn't like that, I didn't see that pitch, or it could be body language to the umpire for calling that. And a lot of times, I think some hitter reactions will let you know if they know where the inside or outside corner is, just because the way they may breathe in between pitches, or some guys are really obvious. They look at the umpire and I can't believe that pitch down and away is a strike. So that, to me, that would let me know that this guy really doesn't have ownership of that part of the plate. And
now, what do you mean by a funny reaction? Like, is it a way to describe that, or is something you got to see?
Well, I would say if I see a reaction from a hitter, my pitcher makes a pitch on the outer part of the plate, and it's it's just a deep breath or a glare at the umpire, or some guys get animated with their body, like, oh, there's no way that's a strike, and that just lets me know, like, they're not locked in, but they may not know, and it could be the other side of the plate. They couldn't believe the guy called a high strike. So it lets you know, like, what kind of ownership of the strike zone they have. Some guys command part of the zone, but not the whole zone. So just general body language and reactions can tell you a lot. Just like, a flinch on a first pitch breaking ball. would tell me I can go back to this pitch. He doesn't see it that well, and then it does come back to execution.
I think you can't use a strategy based upon what you've read unless you have command. So kind of like reading batters and command is kind of a more advanced topic for pitchers that they get further along in their career. I think.
Yeah, and like, so if the pitcher is told, hey, you're going to react to what you see out there. And so we'll just say I throw a fastball, early in the count, challenge fastball. It's a right-handed batter, and he hits it over the first base dugout. So he's really late, so I would do him a favor by throwing something soft in the strike zone. To me, if I see the hitter's late by that foul ball, my options are to go further in, further up, where reaction time, or a combination of the two. But I can also go, a breaking ball that's strike to ball. So I start it in the zone and work its way out of the zone because I know I'm going to be able to beat him with the fastball on that part of the plate, the inner part of the plate, just by the way he rifled the first ball over the first base dugout. And I see it all the time, especially like I'm working with the high schools and college pitchers now, is that the hitter's late on your fastball. They're late, then they throw a slider in the middle of the plate, and it's a double in the gap.
Yeah,
and it just makes no sense because you just saw that he's late, so you slowed the pitch down for him.
Yeah, we always refer to it as just speeding up his bat. Don't
Right.
do that.
Right.
And
there I can react to a hitter may do the opposite. I may throw my best fastball on a 0-0 count, and he pulls it down the left field line and just misses a double. I know that he's timed my fastball up. So I'm reading that he's timed me up. I need to do something different, whether that's a change of speeds. A change up is a great pitch, or like you said, advanced pitchers. I may see I'm throwing a ball off the plate inside. I want to make this guy's pretty comfortable in the batter's box right now.
yeah.
So I have to have command. I don't want to hit him. I just want to move his feet. Make him lose his toe hold in the batter's box. So I'm reacting to that pulled foul ball. And you can see a lot of things from foul balls, a foul ball that's hit straight back, or a foul ball that someone hits into their leg. Everybody's wearing these ankle guards and shin guards now. But a lot of those hitters, to me, are like really trying to catch the ball out front, which they should. But that opens up things for pitchers, is to add and subtract, to work north and south.
Well, let's suppose a guy takes your fastball and it drives it into his foot. What would you do next?
If it were me and I was one of my pitchers, we're going to try to run the ball further in, and try to get him to hit it off that shin guard or foot again. Because hey, man, you got to get paid. You got to get guys out consistently.
Yeah. Emo was. I always told the story that he was talking to a bunch of high school pitchers and asking them what the job of pitcher is, and they're yelling out to get the most spin rate, throw it the hardest, blah, blah, blah. And he wrote on the board, O-U-T. I think a lot of times people forget that a job as pitcher is to get outs with the least amount of runs given up, right? And preferably, for me, with the fewest amount of pitches. I think if you're trying to strike guys out all the time, you're not going to serve your team well because you're not going to go deep in the game. Now that's if you're a starter. If you're a reliever, maybe there's situations, right, where you got to strike the guy out because that's the best outcome, right?
Yeah, man. Relievers, as the game gets more refined, I think the relievers have a role and they have some type of niche, and we see that in the major leagues now. The guy has a low angle and he throws a lot of sliders, or the guy throws really hard, and he's coming at you. So I think a lot of times those relievers can go in and they just go to their strength right away, and some of them are good enough to go to the hitter's weakness right away because they have two pitches, or they have three pitches, and it's about execution and command. But they also can react. You may think I'm blowing gas and the guy hacks the first one and just misses a home run right, just to the side of the foul pole. And you're like, well, we need to reassess this situation right here.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, what about batters like in the lower levels like GCL and all of that? They're kind of
Hmm.
hacking away at everything. But as you get further up, I've noticed and Tim Hires had talked about this too, uh, that the batters will pick a pitch in a lane, and that's kind of hard for guys to learn initially in Double A and up to notice when a guy's hunting your pitch or when he's kind of locked into a lane and he's looking for a pitch. What are some of the tells that you've seen that kind of give an indication of what they're looking for and then how to counter it?
Well, I would say, uh, to me, you can tell when the hitter goes in the box with a plan, and so we'll just say this hitter is hunting the ball middle in, and you start out with a fastball just on the outer third or a little slider cutter, and it's just an easy take. So this guy has a plan of attack, and those hitters are always the most difficult for pitchers because I mean the hitter. I think the better hitters look in a zone, and I think pitchers we all can all take advantage of the hitters. Some guys because they'll say, "Well, I was just looking for that one pitch. What the size of a baseball, 2 inches in diameter." We know the universal strike zone is 19 inches, right? So and Tim Hires did explain it well. He goes, we kind of tell our guys to look for like a basketball size zone. You can't be so picky that you get down in the count by looking for balls that are just down the middle or just on this inner third and mid thigh high, because you're going to beat up on those pitches, but you have to expand yourself a little bit to have a bigger coverage area. But the hitters that go up there with a plan definitely give you more at bats. They foul pitches off, they see pitches, and I think a lot of pitchers get confused when a hitter takes a pitch. That guy, they come back to the dugout and say they got the hitter out, long fly ball, and he's like, "That guy screwed me up. I threw one right down the middle first pitch, and he didn't even offer. I didn't know where to go." And sometimes I think the pitcher can read too much into it. That may be the first at bat of the game, and we don't know that this guy has been swinging at everything, and he's told, "Hey, take a strike. See if you can see a strike."
Yeah.
So I do want to react to what I see as a pitcher, but I also have my plan, and I'm not going to let someone take away from that plan. And like we talk about, Wayne, it's like the best pitchers, especially with their fastball, right? They have to be able to go on the inner half and the outer half. And maybe they're a guy with a good spin rate, right? So maybe they're north and south. But I have to be able to attack those two spots. If I'm north and south, I have to be able to go top of the zone and above and bottom of the zone. If I'm east and west, I have to be capable of doing both, because these elite hitters that we want to get out, they do have a better side of the plate for fastballs. And
Well,
I
yeah,
just can't
because
go. I can't be mano a mano every time. And I'm going to pitch Mike Trout low in the zone. He's going to beat you up. You
yeah,
know?
it's just like pitching a guy inside to get back part of the plate. It's like if you give the batter half the plate, you're going to have a long day, right?
Yeah. And to me, I mean, the pitchers, they should know things, especially to help with the catchers. That's all about the catcher. The catcher should look down at the hitter's feet before he gives a sign. And we see hitters do it on a regular basis. They're getting pitched outside, so they move up on the plate. Well, I should know now. Oh, I can counteract that by throwing in, or they
Mhm.
move up in the box because they think the pitcher's throwing slow, And to me, hitter moves up in the box. I don't care how hard my pitchers throw. If they have some type of sinker in, if it's a same-handed hitter, right, I'm throwing fastballs in, and they're going to hook them foul, and eventually I'll strike them out with a breaking ball. Or if I have a good changeup, I'll go to my out pitch. But there's always something to counter that hitter, and I see that some at these high school games. Hitters move up on the plate and they move up in the box because they don't think the pitcher's going to throw hard enough. And next thing you know, those pitches that we keep throwing them inside, they lose command of the zone because they're not used to standing 3 inches away. They're used to being 12 inches. And now these fringy strikes, they're like hitting them on the handle. They're rolling foul. And pitchers, we better be able to get guys out when we're 0-2 and 1-2. So we have to have them pitched in to put them away. And shoot, I've had success with that, seeing that. And I just tell all the infielders, we're going to shift over and we're going to pitch in this spot. And there they go, ripping balls foul, rip balls foul, change up the dirt, strikeout. So
that's good, because Chad was talking about that too, that some advice he got from some batters was before you pitch, take a look at your infield and your outfield. They're already planning what you should be throwing. So you should be pitching to that plan too, right?
Right. If we go over in a game that we're going to play, you can't shift extreme anymore. But say we're going to shade this left-handed hitter to pull. Well, I'm not going to feed him a steady diet of fastballs up and out over the plate so he can hit the ball where no one's playing. I'm going to try to make him pull it. I'm going to go change ups down in the zone. Or if I have a good sinker, I'm going to try to jam him. We're all over there. The left fielders and left center. I'm not going to make it easy for him to soft serve one to the left for a double. So yeah, I mean, that kind of all works together. You need to know what the plan is, especially the infield defense. But man, if you're pitching, you go for pulled ground balls and opposite field fly balls all day long. Like you said, those pitches, those outs come early in the count. And the next thing you know, you're in the 5th inning. You haven't even gotten over 60 pitches. So the pitch counts always are in today's game.
Let's go back to how to read a batter when they're hunting a certain pitch. So let's take, for example, if they're hunting a slider, what would that look like? Because, like, for example, when I talked to my son about when he first learned how to do that, he first thought that the batter was having trouble hitting his slider, but it was really that the batter was hunting it. And until he realized that he was hunting it, then he could learn how to counter it.
Well, I think there'll probably be two foods for thought there. So a lot of times, I think the hitters say, "I'm going to hunt a slider," which is good. If they do that early in the count, I think that's good. But a lot of times, all they do is end up chasing them off the plate. They got the slider, but it's 2 or 3 inches outside, and the soft contact or swing and miss. So even that hitter who says, "I was hunting this pitch," I think the better hitter is going to say, "I was hunting something out over the plate. So I've got the fastball and the slider that I can cover out there." But if I think a hitter is, honestly, if they're sitting breaking ball, there's probably something that has happened that has led to that. I got him out with a breaking ball the first at bat, or last time we faced him. I got him out on 2 breaking balls. So, and then what is he doing? He's giving up his strength. But you can always tell a lot. I'm telling you, if you watch a game, these foul balls tell you a lot. So, and to me, and it's like knowing if you're tipping your pitches, right? A lot of times it's not you're getting whacked around immediately. It's like you're throwing these borderline, like, nasty pitches, and you're getting spit on. They're like, there's no way he lays off that, slider right there, 0-2, that's, 2 inches off the plate. And it's like, okay, this guy's hunting that pitch, or I'm tipping my pitches. That's a telltale sign for me of tipping pitches, is that they take these pitches that are, we'll say 8 out of 10 times that people are swinging at, and they take them so easily, like they knew they were coming,
That's a great point.
Yeah. So I think a lot of times, man, you talk about these hitters with slider bat speed, they hit sliders. And I think, and you see a lot of that in some of the AAA level in the minor leagues, these guys who just hunt the slider, but where are those pitches? They're middle plate away. And the reading of the hitters, I know Max Scherzer would all have a saying: if you threw a breaking ball for a first pitch strike, right, we're not going to repeat. We can throw it again, but we're not repeating in the zone again. So first pitch curve for a strike. If I want to go again, I'm going to the dirt. I'm not going to give him 2 looks at the same pitch.
Yeah, I'm the
Make you
same.
know
I'm the same way. I don't like to double up on things because I think every time you throw a pitch, you tell the batter a lot of information, the shape, the speed.
right. So I think you can. I'll tell the catchers and the hitter or pitchers that when this hitter will say, I throw a split finger, first pitch, chasing the dirt. There's no harm repeating that pitch because it's not a strike. So if
Oh,
this guy
okay.
wants to keep chasing, he just, some hitters just know there's no way he's going to throw me 3 off-speed pitches in a row, and they're all over the fastball again, and it's not a fastball for the third time, and you've gotten them out in 3 pitches. Um, so uh, repeating those pitches that go from strike to ball are important. It's just like using the Trakker for that. Hey, I
Mhm.
need you to expand the zone, work to the fringe of the plate away, off the plate, because that command is just as important as being in the zone, as being able to expand the zone. And you read hitters, like if I see a hitter chasing the high pitch, right? He chase a
Yeah.
fastball above the letters. Okay, so I should know I can go back there, even if I did it on accident. But the hitter who generally chases up also chases down below the zone. So that's why we try to pair the guy with the good carry fastball with the deep curveball. Those
Yeah,
pitches look
that's
the
what I
same
was
coming out
thinking.
of the hand, and
Yeah.
here they are, and it's just like, we'll say a guy he's east and west. He's like big sinker and, sweeping slider. If I can get you to chase away, chances are I can get you to chase on the other side of the plate too. Because you really, and it's just today. I think you have to respect anybody with a bat. Today, this guy's a little bit lost knowing where that 17-inch strike zone is. So it's a little chase here, a little chase there. And I think just like a hitter can see a pitcher frustration, we could see the hitter's frustration too. He gets a strikeout on 3 pitches. Next at bat, I know, this guy's coming up there with some type of different thought process. Uh, for me, like trying to read the hitters, Wayne, is like I need to be able to start at bats with different pitches in different locations. So if I'm facing Anthony Rizzo 3 times, every time I'm not starting him out, the first at bat might be first pitch, slow curve. I'm not doing this. Too dangerous to do that the next at bat and the next at bat. I need these elite hitters. You have to get into the at bat in different ways. And I think that's a way of the pitcher dictating the at
Yeah, I
bat.
think the pitcher is forcing the batter to give some information when you do that, right?
Correct. So we're
Yeah.
gathering from that. And there's even
So
the hitters that are super aggressive. I was just telling one of our coaches the other day, third time through the order, that we would throw a fastball off the plate inside, and we got so many outs with that pitch. So we're throwing a ball on purpose. It's close, but we've like first at bat soft, second at bat first pitch soft, third at bat first fastball off the plate in, jam shot. You
mhm.
know, they just have gotten, they've seen soft first pitch, soft first pitch. Now I'm not going to wait to see what he's thinking. He's got to be thinking, and what's hurt if it's a ball? Well, I
Yeah.
threw a ball off the plate in. I sped his bat up a little bit. Now it can go back. But a lot of times those pitches get out. So you're just throwing like, I'm going to throw a ball off the plate here and see how we go. And the hitter is so aggressive because he's seen soft, soft. So to me, that's like the pitcher dictating the at bat.
So when you see an easy take, you're seeing the batter not really have any reaction at all, right? And then
Right.
if he's surprised by a pitch, he's gonna like flinch his arms or like you're gonna see some subtle. I'm sure it's some subtle difference in the batter, right?
Yeah. And if I've done my homework, I know what the batter looks like, how he gets in the box, what he does in between pitches. And it may be adjust the helmet, batting gloves, and all of a sudden it's step out of the box, a big exhale,
Oh, that
and you're
that's a
like,
great that's a great point. Yeah,
because
because
all the
if you looked at video of the batter for a bunch of bats before, you're gonna know if he's doing something out of the ordinary, and that's gonna tell
correct,
you that he was flustered by something or not, right?
Yeah, and you threw something unexpected, or I really didn't think that was a strike that the umpire just called. You know,
That's
and
a good point because Chad Durbin was talking about on the plane. Roy Halladay would have three computers out with three different things playing videos of the batters, all different games that he was going to
mhm.
face. And he's watching them all. And I guess he's doing what you're saying. He's looking to see what does that batter normally look like so that when he faces him, he's going to know if it's doing something different, right?
Yep. Holiday, he was a master.
Yeah. I guess what I want to get into is about I'm thinking about different pitches like curveballs, fastballs, sliders, changeups, and which way they're fouled off. I'm wondering if we can get into what that means. Do you think that's something good to cover?
Uh, it's good to cover. I think you could read too much into that.
Yeah.
To me, I would see, like you say, we'll just go curveball, right? Uh, and it's a, you just have, I mean, I think through experience, Wayne, you get this feel of, oh my God, that guy just measured my curveball. Say it was a take, you know, he just
Mhm.
eyeballed it. And that is just comes with experience. And that's
All right.
why a lot of times the young pitchers have veteran catchers that lead them. They're like, this guy did not swing, but he saw that really well. Uh, so, and, you know, like we'll say, like, we'll talk about deep in the count, you know, two strikes. And if I have out over the plate with a slider and someone is fouling that ball off, that means that tells me that they've given up the inside part of the plate. They don't think I can beat them in there, or they don't think I will go in there. If you're fouling balls that are, you know, 10 inches from middle, that are curves, sliders, cutters, and you're getting to these pitches to foul them off, no matter how you're hitting them, you're out over the plate. The hitter's eyes are out over the plate. So I should be able to read, hey, man, the inside part of the plate is open. I just have to execute the pitch. And I think that's the simple execution is the difference between the pitchers that are successful and the pitcher who says, oh, I have to hit like a gnat's ass on this inside corner with my best velocity, and you miss. And my opportunity was there to get you out with just a ball on the inner third of the plate.
Yeah.
Because
I,
there's no way if I sit, like you said, how am I reading it? These pitches aren't strikes, and you're managing to get a piece of them off the plate. So you're diving out over the plate. So I have to come inside.
yeah. I don't know where I read it, but it's a saying that I use a lot that most home runs are thrown, not hit, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, pitchers make mistakes. I mean, the average miss in the major leagues, well, they say 12 inches, you know, and I think we see the higher you go, the more elite the competition. Not only do they hit those balls, they're damage hits. You know, they're not singles. You know, they're extra base hits or they're home runs. And there's times when a pitcher has to tip his hat. You know, guy goes under the zone, gets a low breaking ball, hits it out of the park. But most of the time, they're mistakes. But you know, I mean, the pitcher gets away with mistakes too. So, tell you what, from the coaching standpoint, and so you're really leading the catchers. We have an elite high school group, but I want them to see how the hitter gets where they get to in the batter's box. And I'll give you this story. This player was drafted in the 2023 draft in the sixth round. So I have no idea who this player is, but before the game, we talk about he's their best hitter, and he really has trouble with breaking ball. So first at bat of the game, he's the big guy, you know, 6'4", 4-pitch walk. So we gather no information. The next at bat is a first pitch curve that he hits over the fence. The next at bat, he gets down to, we have a low 90s reliever, hits a slider over the wall. So we play these guys two more times in that series, and we're going to play them three more times down in Florida. And it's like, boys, this guy, this is me talking, catchers and pitchers. This guy's on top of the plate. He's taken away that strike breaking ball. If that's because he can't hit it, I don't know that. But he hits those ones in the zone. So we are going to pitch him inside. You're going to shove the ball inside. And if he doesn't like it, you're going to go further inside. Because this is a game for men, And I'll just tell you, the next night we had one of our pitchers who's the crafty lefty, right? And I just assured him, I said, Asher, you're the one standing out there 60 feet away. So you look in there, and if you think you can get the ball in on him, I said, just keep pounding it in. And I said, they don't have to be strikes. But first at bat, 2 fastballs in a row, inner part of the plate, take. So how am I reading that? I'm reading that this guy's looking for something soft out over the plate. 0-2 chases a changeup off the plate, F9. Next at bat, we comes in, he goes, what do you think? I go, you're going to go right back in there. I said, unless you see him, he's moved off the plate. And we went fastball in, take, fastball in, terrible looking swing, right? Like you said, I'm gathering information. And now we worked right off that slider from strike to ball, back foot, strikeout. And the rest of the time that we faced this hitter, that would be over the next 4 games, he did nothing. He refused to get off that plate, and we kept jamming fastballs in there. And then he did chase breaking balls because now that outside corner opened up because you sped that bat up. And, so to me, I do want to see where they're standing. And as a pitcher, I need to be able to see that. And some guys may see it differently. But I see you on top of the plate. I'm going in there. We're going to find out because you're not going to sit and, hammer anything that's middle away and even off the plate away. And this guy has a lot of power. We're going to take that power away. We're going to throw this ball in. And we're just going to keep chasing him in. And for that hitter, it worked, Before I even saw the first swing, I'm like, this guy's not getting to that ball inside. He's not getting to it. And these kids are 18. And so I've been doing this for 33 years. So it's just like me sharing it. I wouldn't expect them to know that, but they should know from that day forward. Too, when I see this guy on top of the plate, I got a decision to make because he's taking that outside part of the plate away from me. And to me, like those guys too. So this was left-handed pitcher, right? I told the right-hander, I said, you want to throw him a breaking ball? Start it right at his rib cage. And there we go, starting at the rib cage down the middle. And now what do you do when you throw that fastball in? He swings at it and he hits his thumbs and he cries all the way to first. The pitchers are happy about that. The hitters, not so much. But there's such a cat and mouse game there. And I can react to what I see. But I reacted before I saw the first swing. They have to throw this guy inside. And, from the side, I think you see a lot of things that the pitcher and catcher can't, especially at this level. And for me, the main thing I would look at is I want to see when the hitter starts to swing. When does he, load up? When does he, if he has a toe tap or a leg lift? And I have to see the pitcher and the hitter at the same time. And I can tell you that this guy is on time or this guy's late. And if he's late, we're going to pepper him in. He'll chase the ball away.
So what do you mean by that? Let's suppose I'm looking at the hitter and the pitcher. I'm looking at the pitcher at what part of his delivery relative to the batter.
Well, I'm going to look when the pitcher's at the peak of that leg lift. Has the hitter made any type of move to get ready?
And what does that tell you?
Well, that tells me that when he goes to swing, he doesn't have enough time. So he's going to fly open and spin off the ball. And he can probably cover just the part of the plate that's closest to him. Because when your brain is telling you get your barrel out, I got to fly open. And I'm not going to hit the pitches that are away from me with any authority.
And so if he's not doing that and the pitcher's at the peak of the leg lift, then he's trying to look for breaking balls away.
Well, I would just say he's starting his swing late, and his barrel will only be in the zone for a short period of time. So if I can execute the outer half of the plate with fastballs or cutters, whatever it is, I should get this guy out with no problem. And then I will see hitters that are on time. I look up with leg kick, they're loading, You know, when the arm's up, pitchers get ready to throw. This guy's coiled. He's ready to hit. And hey, man, these hitters, we're going to have to really do a lot of, you know, front to back. We got to change speeds because these guys are on. These guys are, you know, their stride is on time. Their hinge, their hands are on time. So we might feed these guys a lot of changeups. You know, or we're going to really go soft, soft, hard, 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 soft. There's something in there that we're going to interrupt that timing. And that is also a definition of pitching. So if I can interrupt this timing, but if I just stay in there at one speed, this guy's going to get me because he's timing my delivery. You know, he's on time. So
That's a great example of how a coach can help the catcher and the pitcher see things that they couldn't see. You know.
yeah, and I think you see a lot of pitchers going with different leg lifts. You know, a quick stride or their normal high leg lift, and that really. I've read that this guy has a leg kick, right? Those guys like to hang. Well, if you've ever seen Johnny Cueto pitch these guys who have high leg kicks and hangs, he screws them in the ground because they can't time their leg lift with him. And someone will go just to a no stride. So they've tried to combat what he's doing. But you know, hesitation, and then all of a sudden the next one is like Nestor Cortez, no leg lift at all. If you have a high leg kick, which a lot of hitters do, you're in trouble with a pitcher who can, vary tempo and holds in his delivery.
Now, what other kind of batter styles or kind of tell you what they're doing? Like I've also heard about uh, to watch for where a batter sets up, but then look at where he's set up just before he swings, which may be different.
Yeah, for the most part, I think batters who hold the bat high, they're high to me would be hands, ear. Those guys are generally really good low ball hitters because from there your swing is going to get really deep, and you can beat those hitters elevated in the strike zone. And actually, then hitters with lower hands, Bill Madlock type, their swings are really flat. So the emphasis is going to be on bottom of the strike zone and under. But I think you can look at the hands where they're at in the box. And I try to tell the pitchers, if you know nothing about this hitter and you get in the box and he's 6'6", we're not going to let him get his arms extended. We're going to pitch him in and then throw pitches that he runs out of bat of away from him. So something that's moving away from him. So the taller the hitter is, the more, they have to get extended to have power. Same thing if you face a hitter who's, we'll say, vertically challenged. They usually hit the ball inside because they got shorter arms than most. And their outs are outside. And there's exceptions. I look at a guy like Altuve, and he's an elite hitter, though. He's one of the best hitters in the world. And he hits, even though he's not a tall person, he hits rockets from foul line to foul line. But I think you find that's probably pretty rare. So it's like a rule of thumb for you. You don't know what to do? Take a look at how long the hitter's arms are.
Now, what about a batter stance being open or closed? And also, if the stance is open, but then just before the swing, they close off, that kind of stuff too,
Yeah, so many hitters now start with the open stance. I just would want to see when they go to stride, are they back to square? Are they still open? Are they closed off? So I think a lot of times if a right-hander is facing a same-handed hitter with an open stance, if I have a pitch that moves to the arm side, I think you kill those hitters with those pitches. So a lefty facing a left-hander with open, running sinkers in on him, something maybe not be traditional. I think just because of the move they make, you just don't see many hitters in closed stances beside Stanton. He's old school 70s stance. And I think if you can just stay off the barrel, which is tough, you know, I think you pitch the guy in myself. But those are the guys like you talk about. I'm going to pitch him backwards. You know, if it's a breaking ball count 1-2, I'm probably going to throw a fastball. You know, if it's a fastball count, I'm behind the count. I'm throwing a changeup or a slider. So in fastball counts 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, he's seeing a breaking ball. And advantage count for the pitcher, you know, I'm probably going to go with the fastball, as the tendency is a high percent of breaking pitches with 2 strikes. So talking about, you know, pitching backwards, I think every pitcher, hard throwing starters pitch backwards. That's just something starters have to learn.
I think it's very important. You have to mix it up, you know.
Yeah. The good pitchers, man, they basically become so, you know, they do become unpredictable. But I think, you know, it is honestly, it's a great, if you want to be a good pitching coach, you have to read The Art of War and know that you have a plan. And every plan, when you go onto the battlefield, it has to be some adjustment made, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you have to be ready to adjust. We played a game in the fall against a junior college. You know, the kids are 2 years older than we are. And through the first 9 batters, 8 balls are hit to the opposite field. So I asked the catcher and the pitcher, have you noticed anything about the first 8 hitters here, 9 hitters? And they're like, they made good contact. And I said, okay, where are all the hits going? And they're like, opposite field. I said, so obviously their team philosophy is going to be like inside the ball, go the other way. So what are we going to do? You know, and I just
I
help
re-
them out by saying, we're going to pitch inside.
Mhm.
We're going to try this next time through the order. We're going to pitch in. We're going to throw some change ups. We're going to try to get them to pull the ball on the ground. And amazing. You know, the team that whacked us around one time through the order, the second time through the order, you know, we're dictating these at bats. We're catching it. We're catching soft contact. We're catching guys on the knuckles, and we're getting guys pitching in. So what does the hitter say? Oh, they're pitching in. Then you throw a first pitch changeup. It's a rollover again. You know, it's a great battle, man. And it comes down to command, you know, and pitch execution. But, you know, I have to see what is happening. This whole team is going the other way.
I remember once, it's my friend Eric Brown. He's the local junior college coach. He's an awesome guy. And my son was on his team. And there was a team from the Bronx. They played him all the time from the Bronx. And he knew that coach. That coach taught them to hit the fastball, nothing else. So when the Bronx came into play, they're not getting any fastballs, and they were just swinging and whacking in the dirt, and they had a really tough time. But what he read into it was that their style that they're taught on that team is, like you said, they're looking for a fastball or something, and he countered that with breaking balls. You know,
Yeah. I mean, that's like
now
saying, oh, man, this guy's a great fastball hitter. Okay. I'm probably still going to throw him some in locations, but guys who are really good with fastball, we talk about being on time. What pitches would give them trouble? Pitches that look like fastballs that aren't. So
right?
change up, slider, a cutter, something that's hard. That when you have to make that decision, it looks like a fastball.
Yeah.
You know,
Now,
and
when
so
a batter does an open or closed stance, I've always thought it had to do with their eye dominance, whether they're left or right eye dominant, that kind
you
of
know,
thing. What do you think?
well, I think some hitting coaches teach that, and some people, if you said eye dominance, they would have no idea what you're talking about. And that would be
Oh,
unfortunate, but that's the truth.
mhm. Yeah, because I think that's another thing you can know about the batter then, right?
Right. I mean, if I was going to a game, like I'm just going to watch a game, and we'll say the second pitch of the game almost hits the guy, and the guy like jumps out of the way of crazy. I'm like, this guy's scared of the ball. We should terrorize this hitter every time we see him. He's scared of the ball.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't just roll in and take it and look at you like, you know, whatever. You know, those guys, you're like, okay, it's going to have to be a battle. This one won't be easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think all these things come into play when we talk about command and we talk about reading batters and then the sequencing. it's kind of the reason I started the show. I started the show to talk about command so people would understand what it's really about. But then the more you go down that path, you realize that to use command, you have to read batters. You have to then know what the counting pitches should be. And I don't think it's taught enough, you know?
Yeah, and you know, like I know for some pitchers, especially the ones that are in their younger development stage, it might be it might be hard. I won't even use the word read. So it's hard. I want them to focus on throwing quality strikes.
Yeah.
But you can certainly see when a guy chases a ball above the zone, right? Can you see like just at conversation? Did you see he
Yeah.
swung at the breaking ball in the dirt? Yes. Did you see they were super late on that fastball they hit over the left-handed batter hit over the third base dugout? Like, yeah, I saw it. He was late. Okay, so we can learn something, right? You're not. I'm not asking you to do anything that's revolutionary. Doesn't require you to be Einstein, you know. But I threw a fastball and he was really late. You know. Okay, we can work off of that.
That's a great point because Chad was talking about when he came up through the minor leagues, like he was a starter, and in days when you're a starter, you're behind the backstop with a radar
Right.
gun, charting
Right.
the game, and his coach would ask him, "Well, what are you seeing? What is this batter doing?" His coach, it was encouraging him not just to write down the numbers, tell me what this batter was trying to do and what he did. And he said when he started doing that, he went from watching a game and kind of just going through the motions to actually having a learning experience that really helped him, you know?
Yeah. I'm a big proponent of pitching charts, and it makes the pitcher watch the game. And I mean, I have my pitchers make comments because you're going to see, especially if you're right-handed pitcher starting and you're a right-handed pitcher. What do you see? And just make a note in there. Number 14 cannot hit breaking ball. Or this guy swings at everything. They don't have to be like complicated. You know, this guy hit the first pitch all four at bats. So I need to be, conscious of throwing down the middle, just trying to get ahead because he's not letting me get ahead. But I love that. It's kind of a lost thing now that we have all these games on, the interns chart the games, and there's something to be said for the pitcher watching it at real time and learning something from it.
Yeah.
Well, some teams have their intern do it, and the intern ain't
But
pitching.
right. But I think that even if they have them do it, they need someone like you to tell them what they're looking at because like he could say, okay,
Well,
he
I'm
didn't expect
available. I'm available for a small fee. So
that they ought to jump on that. I mean, because what is kind of being a lost art that they're going to need because, like I've said, what separates pitchers at the upper levels nowadays is command. Everybody throws hard. Everybody spins it, very hard. So what makes them different? They command the ball, and then to know what to command, you have to know what to throw. You have to be able to read batters, know what a sequence should be, and that goes back to pitching, and that's what you understand. You know,
yeah, it's good to ask a young player, a young pitcher, to define what pitcher is. What does that mean to you?
yeah. I started that LinkedIn group that's called Pitchers Overthrowers. I think it's like 65 people already. And
Okay.
basically it's a group where we just talk about things about pitching, not throwing, about pitching and what that means, you know.
Yeah, man. It's I can tell you that in this will be going back. I got to think now. 24. This would be like maybe 29 years ago. I took my staff who had been stinking it up and invited them towards the coaching office, where I made them all go into the bathroom with me. And I did get a little loud, but I told them on the back of your baseball card it says RHP, right-handed pitcher, not RHT, right-handed thrower. And it was really loud. But I think they got the point because we started pitching and we stopped throwing. Because if we want to advance in this game, we not only have to pitch, not throw, we have to do so consistently, and it's not just a mindset. It's, everything matters. It's the mindset, the mechanics of it, the thought process. So yeah,
Yeah,
they're left-handed
100%.
pitchers, not left-handed throwers.
Everyone, if they're focusing on throwing hard like they do nowadays, they're forgetting that pretty much nowadays everyone throws hard. So what makes you different? I think now you have to be a pitcher. So in a way, it's kind of a good thing. We've come back to the point where you really need to be a pitcher nowadays.
Yep. Those guys give hitters fits.
Yeah. So someone's got to snap you up because they need guys like you.
They do. They're missing out.
And you see it every day. I see games where guys are throwing 95 to 100 and they can't get guys out.
Yeah, they're good at backing up third.
They can get a couple strikes, but they can't put a guy away. Or sometimes I've seen a guy throw in low 90s, go 6-7 innings, couple runs, bring in a reliever at 95 plus, and pink out of the park, pink out of the park. Because they think that these batters can't hit that when these batters are training on 95 to 100 all day.
These guys are training at 105 now. They're catching up.
Wow.
They get those machines set up and they practice it.
Right.
And like we talked about earlier, all you got to do is time it.
Yeah, I've always said that the batters nowadays know everything about you. They know what you throw, how fast you throw it, how it spins, how it moves, everything. The thing they don't know is where and when you're going to throw those pitches. And I think that's your weapon. And like you were describing earlier, these combinations of what to throw and when, that's your weapon that they can't counter that if you do that right.
That's correct.
Well, Mack, at the end of the show, I always do the thing of what your top quality are for a pitcher. But since you were one of the first guests on the show, I already have your top 4 qualities. And I appreciate you coming on again because every show I'm actually learning something too. And I hope people are watching are doing the same. I know that these episodes about reading batters have been really popular, and because I don't think a lot of people know it as well as you do. So thank you.
Of course. Enjoyed it, man. Thanks, Wayne.
All right. Thanks, Mack.
All right, buddy. Have a good Christmas.
You too. Merry Christmas. I'll talk to you before then too.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Bye.
Don't forget to hit subscribe to get notified when new episodes are released. Pitching Command Show, brought to you by Command Trakker, the smart target that MLB and D1 teams rely upon to measure and train command. Many throw hard, but few command. Visit commandtrakker.com.